This is Never Down, Never Out with T.R. Matson. This podcast is about discipline when motivation fades, resilience when things get hard, and showing up when quitting would be easier. No hype, no shortcuts, just the mindset required to build something real. One day at a time. Let's get into it. Welcome back. Episode 26. I know I start a lot of these episodes. Sorry about the wrinkled shirt. My goodness, it's just one of my favorite shirts, and I needed it today. This is my, probably can't see, but my Just Win Today. I love this shirt. Just win today. What a great message. I don't know. Maybe I thought of it. Maybe that's why. But I do. I like it. It's funny. I live in a household with two young kids and a beautiful wife, and my son and my wife will wear some of my merchandise shirts. And there's definitely a motivation that comes from seeing your 7-year-old doing something, wearing a Just Win Today or Never Down, Never Out shirt, or your beautiful bride, putting on that to go work out in the gym. It fills my heart. So I have on one of my favorite shirts. Sorry, it's a little wrinkly. I'll work on that in the future. But today, this is a big one. Episode 26. I know I start a lot of these and I ramble on about thanking you for the support and I can't believe I've gotten this far. And, this started almost a month ago as just an idea where I was going to come on and I was going to record 10 to 15 to 20 minute segments about certain topics. And I was going to save them on my computer. And that was going to be the end of it. The world was never going to see it. They were there. They were going to be organized for my children and my children's children, that if they ever wanted to hear their old man talk about something, or they were going through a particularly difficult thing, it would give them maybe some insight on things that helped me if I wasn't around. I'm perfectly healthy as far as I know, but we live in a crazy world and you just never know. And I don't take time for granted. I've said it before with my writing, and this podcast is no different. I can't give you time back. I could refund money. I can do all those things, but I can't give you your time back. It's too valuable. It's a commodity that we don't have an unlimited supply of. And that's where this all started with. And now here we are. I can see episode 30 on the horizon in my mind. And I'm just pleasantly shocked that we've gotten this far, to the fact where I've come out of my comfort zone and I have shared these with you. And I appreciate the feedback and everything that comes with that sharing. So today's topic, now that I've rambled for 3 minutes, stick with me here. This is a topic that I take personally. I've got to work on. My wife would tell you I have to work on. Most people that know me would tell you I probably have to work on this. But I do work at it. It's just that we're flawed individuals and I'm never going to be perfect. But I try. So the role of patience in success. Now, I'm going to do something a little different today, and I'm going to start out with defining patience, just so we know what we're talking about. Patience is the ability to wait or to continue to do something despite difficulties, or to suffer without complaining or becoming annoyed. That's what my wife would tell you is the hardest for me. I love trying to understand patience, probably because it's something that I lack to the level that I want things done now. I was never the student in school that waited until the night before. I hated working in groups because of that. And maybe that is why I have had to struggle with patience throughout my. There's a couple quotes for you that I love. Joyce Meyer. Hopefully I don't screw these up. Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. So when I sit here with my young kids and they're getting crazy and I'm trying to get my son to do his schoolwork, and it gets so frustrating because I know that he has the ability to just knock out the schoolwork and we can move on with our day. I know it. I see it. Or when we go out into the gym and he wants to row on the rowing machine and watch a show because we don't do a lot of screen time. And he'll hop on the rowing machine. I'm like, okay, I want you to keep this pace because that shows me that you're actually working and you're not just sliding back and forth. And he's like, yeah, Dad, I got it. And then I let him go for a few minutes and I look and he's just going back and forth. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I'm waiting for him to realize that he has this massive ability for a 7-year-old to be able to crush it on the rower and get stronger and faster and better and build his cardiovascular strength and his physical strength. But I get frustrated because I'll correct him, go back to what I'm doing, come back, and what's he doing? Back to where he was. So patience is something that I think a lot of us struggle with. Another quote by, I'm going to mess up this, Leo Tolstoy. Patience is waiting, not passively waiting. That's laziness. But to keep going when the going is hard and slow, that's patience. So if we apply that to what you're working on today, to what goal I'm trying to achieve, to trying to raise my kids so they don't have to go through massive amounts of therapy when they're adults. We're trying to do this. We're trying to get through this waiting period, this time, like we talked about yesterday, where we don't have results. We're trying to push through that, but then still enjoy and not be upset about what we're doing right now. Massively difficult. But I can tell you, the only road to success, to any goal worth achieving, goes through patience. Because if you can't figure out how to be patient when you're on this journey, as we talked about yesterday, he said ironically, if you can't figure out how to be patient when you're going down this road towards your goal, you're never going to make it. Ever. Because you're going to be so miserable in the process that you're going to give up. I remember a very real example of this. An analogy that literally is me going down a road. So this was years ago. I had bought a fun car, and part of buying the car, it was a Ford, part of buying it is you got this track experience. And I was going to drive, not that car, my truck, to the track experience. It was a one-day track experience. I'm not going to fly. It's quick enough just to drive. I'm going to hop in my truck. I'm going to head out. I'm going to stay in a hotel room. Next morning, awesome track experience, drive home. It's just some guy time for me. I was super excited. And I hop in my truck and I say goodbye to my wife and son at the time, because my daughter wasn't born yet, and I'm driving. And everything's looking good. I got the nav on. I got the tunes playing. I'm feeling good. I am going to go drive a car around a racetrack tomorrow. You can't knock me off this. And I happened to look at the nav, and it went from like an hour and a half to 5 hours. What? What's going on here? And then I saw the brake lights. Just massive gridlock. And I remember as I'm sitting there in my truck going 1 mile an hour at best, I'm just watching the time that I'm going to get to the hotel tick higher. And I'm losing it. There's not a song on the radio that can help my mood. Nothing. I call my wife. I explain what's going on. She tries to hop on the computer to see if there's other routes that would be better. No. I'm stuck. The only thing I could do at that moment is get off at the next exit, turn around and go home and just forget the whole thing. And I was close. In fact, on the second phone call to my wife, where I think I was maybe 5 more miles down the road, I told her, I was like, I think I'm just going to come home. This is dumb. What am I doing? Why am I even going to do this? Like, I don't need to drive this car around a racetrack. Who cares? Stupid. I'm out. I'm going to turn around. And she's like, well, just see. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe a few more miles down the road, it'll clear up. She's like, this is a pretty big opportunity that you're not going to get a chance to do again. I think you should keep going. Like, we're good at home. You don't have to worry about us. Just get there. Okay. So I kept pressing on, but I kept getting more and more impatient. I kept getting more frustrated. It wasn't about the experience I was going to have the next day. It wasn't about how exciting it was going to be or how a once in a lifetime opportunity or any of that. It was purely about the fact that I am stuck on this road and I can't do anything about it but give up and turn around and go home. But I didn't. I kept going. And eventually the traffic cleared. And I got to the hotel. And I got some sleep. And I had an amazing experience driving insanely fast cars that I probably shouldn't have been able to drive. And on the way home, I had a smile on my face that you couldn't wipe off. And there wasn't an ounce of traffic the whole way. It was just clear sailing. And the tunes were playing. And I was happy. And I have memories and pictures and videos of that experience that I'll always keep with me. But I think back now and I realize how much better the whole experience would have been if I could have just been patient. So as we go through this crazy life that we're on, I challenge you, if you are somebody like me that struggles with patience, like me that gets frustrated when things aren't going the way you've concocted them in your mind to go because you've put all this planning in and you have a goal and you're trying to get there and you've looked at all of the things and you've done everything in your control to make it as smooth as possible, and some external factor causes it to go off the rails. If you're one of those people, I challenge you, work on taking that deep breath. Work on finding the good in the bad. Work on the actively waiting while staying positive. Because if you can do that, if you can take those moments where you're your most frustrated, you're most annoyed, you're most out of control, angry, and you could flip it and make those some of your best moments, you have a chance to truly take away one of this world's abilities to knock you off of your path. I want more than anything for my children to learn and to be raised right and to love others and to be good human beings and well-rounded and hardworking. But if I get so impatient in the little moments, and I get so angry in the little moments, I have no chance of that success. Because my son, every time I get angry, he's going to get sad. It's going to set him back, which is going to make me feel bad. And this is just going to be a cycle that continues itself until he's out of the house and just happy his old man's not around. And that's not the goal. So we all have to figure out a way to recognize the importance of patience as we move towards our goal of success. And then more importantly, recognize when we're not being patient. And when those times happen, and they will, we have to actively take over our brain and smile and try to put a positive spin on it. Maybe the reason that traffic was so bad is because if I didn't hit any traffic, I would have gotten into an accident myself. We never know. We can only control so much. So smile, be kind to the people around you and love those around you when it's the hardest to do. And you will be a happier and more successful individual. We'll talk soon. If this episode helped you, don't just listen, apply it. Progress is built in what you do after the message ends. Remember, never down, never out. I'll see you tomorrow.